Cointelpro. J. Edgar Hoover led a very secretive program to disrupt and destroy black organizations and individuals he deemed subversive or communists. This initiative was called the Counterintelligence Program, but became known as Cointelpro. In Hoover's view, any person or group disagreeing with the U.S. government fell into this category. All the civil rights advocates and those speaking out about the mistreatment of black and brown folks were in the FBI's crosshairs. At the top of Hoover's Cointelpro list was Martin Luther King Jr. Hoover has loathed Martin Luther King Jr. since he was nominated for the 1964 Nobel Peace Prize. Hoover saw King's nomination, then him winning the Nobel Peace Prize, as a slap in his face. In the beginning, Hoover wanted to stop all the black liberation efforts because he saw them as akin to the communists. The thought was that King needed to be neutralized because many believed he was the black messiah. Hoover hated that Martin Luther King was trying to achieve equal rights for Negroes. Hoover felt that Negroes were beneath him and that their achievement would cause the Second Civil War. Hoover is not crazy about the Ku Klux Klan, but he didn't want that element to rise in the face of so-called equal rights. Director Carter reached out to Director Hoover in an effort to find a joint solution to the so-called Martin Luther King problem. Director Carter is sitting in Hoover's office reading a file labeled Cointelpro MLK. Carter looks up from the file. "You sent him letters telling him to commit suicide?" asks the baffled Carter. "Sure. That way we wouldn't have to waste bullets on him," says a laughing Hoover. Director Carter always had a respectful opinion of Director Hoover. Carter thought Hoover did a lot of good work during his fight with the gangsters of the 1930s, but since then he thinks the director has been an errand boy for the mob and a chief looking for headlines instead of criminals. Even though they never had a conversation about it, Carter knows that the powers that be in the mob have been blackmailing Hoover since the late 1940s. Carter saw the pics of Hoover caught in a compromising position with a man. Carter always thought it was ironic that Hoover persecuted many Americans because of their suspected homosexuality. "So, you think he should kill himself because he may or may not have had sexual relations with anyone but his wife?" asks a doubtful Carter. Hoover rises out of his seat angrily. "Of course. He is supposed to be a man of the cloth, a clergyman, the so-called Black Messiah. He is nothing more than a sexual beast. People need to know. He needs to be exposed as the fraud he is. King is leading many black people into an unwinnable war with the U.S. government. If we can destroy him, the so-called Messiah, the rest won't dare challenge us," says a passionate Hoover. Hoover's office phone rings. He answers. "Yes, excuse me, Miss Delore. I forgot they were coming in today. I will be right out." Director Hoover hangs up the phone. "I need to take care of a few things. I will be right back," says Hoover as he leaves the room. Director Carter is in awe of Director Hoover's thinking. He notices that Hoover has several poster boards on several easels throughout the room. One of the poster boards says, "Nation of Islam." The poster has pictures of Elijah Muhammad, Muhammad Ali, and Malcolm X, with "deceased" written over his face. Poster 2 has the heading, "The Black Panthers." The pictures that Carter recognizes are Bobby Seale, H. Rap Brown, Stokely Carmichael, and Geronimo Pratt. The third poster is the obvious prize. It is a large picture of Martin Luther King during his "I Have a Dream" speech. The picture has a crosshair over the top of it. Carter realizes that he must be careful involving Hoover in any plans that he might have. Hoover's apparent hatred may cause unforeseen problems. "This fucker is out of his damn mind. I think I had better take a trip to Israel," says Carter to himself.